your mind won't stop. You've been lying here for a while now, and instead of resting, you're running. Replaying the conversation you had this morning, rethinking the decision you made last week, worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. And the harder you try to stop it, the louder it gets. I know that feeling, that exhausted kind of awake, where your body is done,
Father,
but your mind
into your
didn't get the
hands
message.
I commit my spirit.
Here's what I want you to know tonight. You don't have to force it. You don't have to shut your mind down. You don't have to try harder. What you need isn't more effort. What you need is a place to bring all of that noise and lay it down. That's what this is. This is a midnight prayer for a racing mind. A slow, holy space built for exactly the night you're having. And I'll be right here with you all the way through. So take a breath, a real one. Let your shoulders drop. You made it to the end of another day. And before this night is over, I believe God is going to meet you right here in the quiet, in the stillness, in the middle of all that noise. You can lay it down now. Let's begin. Let's pray. Not a formal prayer, not a rehearsed one. Just you and God, right here, right now, in this room, in this bed, in this moment, exactly as it is. Close your eyes if they aren't already, and just let yourself be still for a second before we begin. You don't have to clean yourself up before coming to Him. You don't have to have the right words. You don't have to arrive here feeling peaceful. You can come exactly as you are, with the noise, with the worry, with the weight of everything you're still carrying from today. He already knows. He knew before you said a word. He knew this morning when the day started running before you'd even had a chance to catch up with it. He knew tonight, before you pressed play, that your mind would still be moving faster than your body wanted it to. Nothing you bring here is a surprise to Him, so there's no need to prepare a version of yourself that looks more put together than you actually feel right now. Lord, I come to you tonight, not with answers, but with a mind that won't stop moving, with thoughts that circle back before I can finish one, with worries I've already handed to you 100 times and somehow picked back up without realizing it. I come to you tired, not just in my body, tired in the deep places, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't always fix, the kind of tired that only you can reach. So I'm asking you tonight, not to take away every hard thing, not to resolve every question I'm carrying, but just to be here, to sit with me in the middle of this, to let your presence be bigger than the noise. I know you see me right now. I know you haven't turned away. And even when my mind runs ahead of me to tomorrow, to next week, to everything that might go wrong, I know that you are already there, already working, already holding what I keep trying to carry. So tonight, Lord, I release it. Every thought I've rehearsed, every worry I've polished, every fear I've tried to solve with my own reasoning at 11 o'clock at night, I release it to you. Not because I'm strong, because I'm not, but because you are. I release the conversation I keep replaying, the one where I said the wrong thing, or the one where someone said something to me that I still can't shake. I release it. Lord, I lay it at your feet. I release the decision I'm still second-guessing, the one I made with the information I had, the best I could at the time. I release it. You are not surprised by my choices, and your grace is bigger than my mistakes. I release the fear about tomorrow, about the health, about the money, about the relationship, about the thing I can't name but can't stop feeling. Lord, I release it. Not because it doesn't matter, but because you matter more. And you've told me more than once not to be anxious about tomorrow, that each day has enough of its own, that you are already there. And I release the version of tonight I thought I needed, the one where I had everything figured out before I let myself rest. I don't need that version. I just need you. I release, too, the comparisons I made today without even meaning to. The moments I measured my life against someone else's highlight reel and came up feeling behind. Lord, you didn't design me to live inside anyone else's timeline. You have a plan that is mine alone, and I ask you tonight to help me trust its pace, even when it looks nothing like what I expected by now. Be near to me tonight. Not in a way I have to work for, just near. The way a father is near to a child who's fallen asleep in his arms. The child doesn't have to do anything. The child just rests, and the father watches over. That's what I'm asking for tonight. Let me be the child. Let you be the father. Let this night be the arms I fall asleep in. I confess, Lord, that most nights I try to carry more than you ever asked me to. I convince myself that if I just keep turning a problem over long enough, I'll land on the answer that makes it safe to stop thinking about it. But that's not rest, that's just worry, wearing a different coat. Forgive me for the nights I've mistaken exhaustion for diligence, and for the times I've treated my own vigilance as if it were the thing holding my life together. It was never my grip that held anything, it was always yours. Quiet my mind, Lord, not all at once. I know that's not always how you work, but slowly, the way the noise fades when you walk into a room where it's finally safe to stop performing. Quiet it the way only you can. And if a thought comes back, and it might remind me that I don't have to solve it tonight. Remind me that you are awake even when I sleep. Remind me that not one moment of this night is outside of your reach. Teach me, even in this, to trust the parts I can't see, the plan I can't yet make sense of, the timing that doesn't match mine. I don't need to understand it all tonight. I just need to know that you do. And when the sun comes up tomorrow, let me carry a little less than I carried today. Not because the circumstances will have changed, they might not have, but because I will have remembered, at least for tonight, what it feels like to set something down and trust that it's still being held. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for being the kind of God who can be found at this hour, who doesn't ask me to have it together before I come, who meets me in the dark, in the quiet, in the middle of a racing mind, and says, I'm here. I've always been here. Thank you that your patience with me doesn't run out at midnight, and that your welcome doesn't depend on how well I've held myself together today. I trust you with tonight, and I trust you with tomorrow. In Jesus' name, amen. Take a slow breath. Let that settle for a moment. You don't have to do anything with what just happened. You don't have to feel different right away. Just let the prayer land where it needs to land, and trust that something shifted, even if you can't feel it yet. He heard you. He always does. There is a reason the Psalms have been read at night for thousands of years, not just because they're beautiful, though they are, but because they were written by people who knew what it felt like to lie awake, people who knew the weight of a restless mind, people who had real enemies, real fears, real grief, and who still found their way back to God in the dark. David wrote in the night. He prayed in the night. He wept in the night. And he trusted in the night. And he trusted in the night, not because he had learned, through years of living, that God was faithful even when the darkness felt final. So let these words do what they were made to do. Don't try to analyze them. Don't try to memorize them. Just let them move through you slowly, like water through dry ground. We're going to read from Psalm 4 tonight. And then from Psalm 131, two of the quietest psalms in all of Scripture, written for exactly this kind of night. Psalm 4. Hear me when I call, O God of my righteousness. Thou hast enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. Pause there for a moment. Hear me when I call. That's all David says at first. Not a long explanation. Not a detailed list of everything wrong. Just hear me. That's the whole prayer sometimes. That God would simply hear, and the remarkable thing is, He does. Before the sentence is finished, before the night is over, He hears. O the sons of men, how long will ye turn my glory into shame? How long will ye love vanity and seek after leasing? David is speaking here to the voices, the ones outside, yes, but also the ones inside. The voices that say your worth is measured by what you produce. The voices that trade in vanity, in comparison, in the endless seeking of things that don't satisfy. He's asking, how long will you listen to them? It's a good question for tonight. How long will you let the noise of the world be louder than the voice of God? How long will you let the opinions you're replaying, the comparisons you're making, the pressure you're carrying, how long will you let all of that outshout the one voice that actually knows you and actually loves you? But know that the Lord hath set apart him that is godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call unto him, set apart, not forgotten, not overlooked, not lost in the crowd of 7 billion people on this planet, set apart for him, known by name, heard when you call. That's you tonight. Whatever made you feel small today, whatever made you feel like one more face in a very large crowd, set it down. You were never anonymous to him, not for 1 hour of your life. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Commune with your own heart upon your bed. There it is, right there in the ancient text. God already knew you'd be lying awake with your thoughts. He already knew the bed would become the place where everything surfaces, the place where the day finally catches up with you, where the things you kept busy enough to avoid all day come find you the moment you go quiet. And his instruction wasn't to fight it. It wasn't to distract yourself from it or numb yourself past it. It was to commune with it, to sit with your own heart honestly, without flinching, and then be still. That's the order, and it matters. Honesty first, stillness after. You don't get to the peace by skipping the honesty. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness, and put your trust in the Lord. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Lord, lift thou up the light of thy countenance upon us. Thou hast put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their corn and their wine increased, more than abundance, more than prosperity, more than the best year anyone around him had ever had. David says God had put gladness in his heart that surpassed all of it, not because his circumstances were better, because his source was different. He wasn't drawing his peace from a full harvest. He was drawing it from a faithful God, and a faithful God is the same in the famine as he is in the feast. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep, for thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. I will lay me down in peace, not I will lay me down when the problem is solved, not I will lay me down when I stop worrying, not I will lay me down when I figure it out. I will lay me down in peace, now, tonight, as things are, because the Lord makes me dwell in safety, and that is enough. Now, Psalm 131, this one is only 3 verses, but they might be the 3 most restful verses in all of Scripture. Read them slowly. Let each one breathe. Lord, my heart is not haughty. nor mine eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters, or in things too high for me. There is something deeply freeing about this admission. I don't have to understand everything. I don't have to figure out the things that are too high for me, and some things are. Some things are simply beyond what a human mind was meant to carry alone at night. David isn't weak for saying this. He's wise. He's laying down a burden that was never his to carry in the first place, the burden of having to make sense of everything before he's allowed to rest. How many nights have you spent trying to reason your way to peace? Turning a problem over and over, certain that if you could just think about it one more time, from one more angle, you'd finally land somewhere solid. David says some things are too high. Not too high for God, too high for you. And that's not a failure, that's just being human. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child, not a hungry child, frantic for what it needs, crying out and grasping. A weaned child content, resting, not grasping, not striving, just present in the arms of the one who loves it most, wanting nothing more than to be held. That is the posture God is inviting you into tonight. Not striving, not solving, not figuring it out, just resting in his arms, quiet, still, safe. Not because every question has an answer yet, but because the arms holding you don't require the questions to be answered first. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever, from this moment and forever, not just when you feel it, not just when it makes sense, but from this moment, in this bed, in this quiet hope in the Lord. Let this be the hinge point. Let tonight be the night the hoping starts, or starts again. However many times it's had to start again before, he is here. He has always been here, and he is enough for tonight. There is a moment in the Gospel of Mark that I keep coming back to. Not the miracles, not the sermons, not the great crowds gathered on the hillside, just one small, almost overlooked detail tucked into the middle of a storm. Jesus and his disciples are crossing the Sea of Galilee. It's evening, the boat is moving, and somewhere along the way a storm rises. Not a gentle rain, a real storm, the kind that experienced fishermen feared. Waves breaking over the sides of the boat, water coming in faster than they could manage it. Grown men who had spent their whole lives on that water, beginning to panic, and Jesus was in the back of the boat, asleep. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full, and he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. Mark 4:37-38. Asleep on a pillow. I want you to sit with that image for a moment, not just as a theological fact, but as a picture. The Son of God, in the middle of a violent storm, resting, not anxious, not pacing the deck, not running through worst-case scenarios in his mind, asleep on a pillow, in the back of the boat. Think about what that means for a moment. He wasn't unaware of the storm. He wasn't caught off guard by it. He simply wasn't ruled by it. There's a difference between a person who doesn't see the danger and a person who sees it clearly and still isn't shaken. Jesus was the second kind, and that matters, because your racing mind tonight isn't proof that something is wrong with your faith. It might just mean you haven't yet remembered who else is in the boat with you. Now the disciples wake him, and notice what they say. They don't say, "Lord, could you help us?" They say, "Master, carest thou not that we perish?" There it is, not just fear, accusation, "Don't you care?" Because that's what a racing mind does, eventually. It doesn't just worry, it starts to question. It starts to wonder if God is paying attention, if he sees what's happening, if he's going to do something before it's too late. The worry graduates into doubt, and the doubt starts to sound like "carest thou not?" Maybe you've prayed something like that tonight, even without realizing it. Not in those exact words, but in the shape of the question underneath. Do you see this? Do you care that I'm still awake, still turning this over, still waiting for the wind to die down? It's an honest question, and it's one Jesus doesn't rebuke the disciples for asking, even if his answer reframes it completely. He rose. He rebuked the wind. He said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And then, and this is the part that stays with me, he turned to his disciples and asked them a question. "Why are this so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith?" Not, "Why didn't you bail water faster?" Not, "Why didn't you find a better route?" Not even, "Why did you wake me?" Why are you fearful? Because the problem was never the storm. The problem was what the storm revealed, that they had forgotten who was in the boat with them. And that is the word for tonight. Not a rebuke, please hear me on this. Because I think God understands the racing mind better than we give him credit for. He made us. He knows how the fear compounds in the dark. He knows how one worry connects to the next, and the next. And before long, you're catastrophizing about something that hasn't happened and might never happen. He knows. But he also wants you to know something. He is in the boat. He is in this room with you right now. In the quiet, in the dark, in the middle of every storm your mind is running through at this hour. He is here, and he is not panicking. He is not wringing his hands. He is not scrambling to figure out how to fix what you're worried about. He is at rest, and he is inviting you into that rest. Notice too that he didn't calm the storm before he addressed their hearts. The wind and the waves obeyed him instantly, but the deeper miracle that night wasn't the weather. It was what he was trying to teach 12 exhausted, frightened men about where their peace was supposed to come from in the first place. Not from calm water. From him. The writer of Hebrews talks about this. A rest that remains for the people of God. There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of God. Hebrews 4-9. Not a rest you earn. Not a rest you achieve by finally solving everything. A rest that exists, that is already there, waiting for you to enter it. The Greek word used is sabbatismus, a Sabbath rest, the kind of rest that God himself entered on the seventh day, not because he was tired, but because the work was complete, finished, done. And here is what I want you to hold on to tonight. The work of your salvation complete. The love God has for you complete. His knowledge of your situation, his plan for your life, his presence in this room complete. There is nothing left for you to figure out tonight that will change any of that. The storm may still be on the water. The worries may still be real. The hard things are still hard. I'm not asking you to pretend otherwise, but the one who spoke peace, be still to an actual storm on an actual sea, he is here, right now, in the back of this boat, at rest, and he is not worried about tomorrow. So when your mind races tonight, and it might let that image come back to you, the boat, the storm, the sleeping Christ, not sleeping because he doesn't care, sleeping because he knows something the disciples had forgotten in their fear, that the storm does not have the final word, that the water cannot rise above his authority. That peace is not the absence of wind, it is the presence of the one who commands it. You don't need the wind to stop tonight in order to rest. You just need to remember whose voice it still answers to. You are not alone in this boat. He is here. He is watching over you. And you can lay it down now. Let the words go for a moment. No more thinking. No more processing. Just let everything we've talked about tonight settle somewhere beneath the surface, where you don't have to hold it anymore, and just be here. Picture a night like this one. A small room, quiet. The kind of quiet that has texture to it. Not empty, but full. Full of something you can't quite name. The window is cracked just enough to let in the night air, cool and slow, moving the curtain just barely, back and forth, back and forth. Outside, the world has finally stopped. The street is still. The neighbors are asleep. Somewhere far off, there may be a sound, a distant car, the low call of a night bird, the soft sound of rain beginning on the leaves. But here, in this room, there is only stillness. Notice how nothing in this room is asking anything of you. Not the walls, not the quiet, not the dark. For the first time all day, nothing needs a response. Nothing needs an answer. You are simply allowed to be present in a space that wants nothing back from you. And in that stillness, a light, not bright, just enough. The way moonlight falls across a floor and asks nothing of you. The way a candle in a window doesn't demand to be looked at, it just is. Steady, warm, present. Notice the way it falls across the corner of the room, soft, uneven, catching the edge of a chair, the curve of a doorframe, the folds of a curtain that hasn't fully settled. Nothing in the room is sharp tonight. Everything has gone gentle at the edges. The way things do in the hours when the world stops asking to be looked at directly and simply lets itself be felt instead. That light is not going anywhere. It was there before you closed your eyes. It will be there when you open them. And all through the hours in between, through every dream, through every quiet breath, through the deepest part of the night when the world is most still, it holds. Let that be the last image your mind returns to, if it wanders. Not the list of things left undone. Not the conversation you can't quite let go of. Just this, a small, steady light, holding its place in a quiet room, faithful the whole night through. There is something almost sacred about a light that asks nothing of the one who watches it. It doesn't need you awake to keep burning. It doesn't need your attention to remain faithful. It simply holds its place, the way God holds his, whether you're conscious enough to notice or not. Feel the weight of your body now, not as something to fix, just feel it. The pillow beneath your head, the warmth of the blanket, the way the bed holds you completely without effort on your part. You don't have to hold yourself up right now. You don't have to keep yourself together. The bed is doing that. Let it. There is a kind of trust in this, the trust of letting something else bear your weight for a while. You do it every night without thinking about it, and yet tonight, I want you to actually notice it. Notice how the mattress doesn't ask you to earn its support. It simply holds you, the way grace simply holds you, without requiring anything in return. Think of how many nights you've fallen asleep without ever once wondering whether the bed would hold. You just trusted it, without evidence gathered fresh each evening, without testing it first. That's the kind of trust being offered to you tonight, for everything heavier than a mattress could ever carry, the trust that lets you stop bracing. Stop holding your weight above the thing that was always meant to hold it for you. Let your hands relax. Let your jaw unclench. You may not have realized it was clenched. Let your shoulders drop just a little further than they already have. There's almost always more room to release than we think. One more small surrender waiting just beneath the last one. Let your breathing slow, just one breath at a time. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow, easy, like the tide going out. With each breath, let something small go. A worry, a tension, a thought that doesn't need to be finished tonight. You don't have to name it. Just let it leave with the breath, the way smoke leaves a room when a window opens. Somewhere beyond this room, imagine a field at rest. Tall grass leaning slightly in a breeze too gentle to hear. No footsteps crossing it tonight. No hands parting the stalks. Just grass and wind and the low hum of insects settling into their own kind of stillness. The moon lays a pale strip of light across the middle of the field, and everything on either side of that strip fades into a soft, forgiving dark. Nothing out there is rushing. Nothing is waiting to be finished. The field doesn't need daylight to be complete. It simply is, right now, exactly as it is. At rest under a sky that has watched over it for longer than anyone can remember. You can borrow some of that stillness for yourself tonight. And somewhere closer, imagine water. Not the sea, not a storm, just a slow, quiet stream moving over smooth stones, unseen in the dark but audible if you listen. It doesn't rush toward morning. It has nowhere else to be. It simply moves the way it was made to move, patient and unhurried, the way this night can move for you too, if you let it. Picture the stream passing beneath a low wooden bridge, disappearing into shadow, reappearing further down where a thin band of moonlight catches its surface. That's the rhythm you're being invited into now, not the rhythm of solving, the rhythm of simply continuing, gently, without effort, toward rest. No one is asking the stream to arrive anywhere by morning. It simply moves, unhurried, trusting the shape of the ground beneath it to carry it exactly where it needs to go. You can trust that too, that the ground beneath your own life, even the parts you can't see clearly tonight, is still shaped by a hand that knows exactly where this is leading. You are safe here. He is already watching over you. I want to speak directly to you now, not to a crowd, not to everyone watching. To you, the one who made it this far into the night, the one still awake, the one whose mind has been running longer than it should have, the one who needed this tonight more than you maybe even realized when you pressed play. These are things you need to hear before you sleep. Receive them slowly. You don't have to agree with all of them right away. You don't have to feel them fully tonight. Just let them sit near you, the way a friend might sit near you in silence, not fixing anything. Just present, just close, letting the truth do its own slow work in its own time. You did enough today. I don't know everything you carried. I don't know how heavy the morning was, or how long the afternoon felt, or what you were still managing at the end of the day when everyone else had already moved on. But I know this: you showed up, and that was enough. That has always been enough. Maybe today didn't look like much from the outside. Maybe there was no visible finish line, no clear accomplishment to point to and say, there, that was worth something. But showing up quietly, faithfully, without applause, is its own kind of victory. God has never measured your day the way a scoreboard would. You are not behind. Whatever measuring stick you've been holding yourself to tonight, put it down. God is not measuring you the way the world measures you. He is not tallying your productivity or your performance or how well you handled everything that came at you today. He sees you, the whole you, and what he sees, he loves. There is no timeline you've fallen off of in his eyes. No version of your life that would have looked better if only you'd moved faster. He has never once compared you to who you might have been. He only ever sees who you are right now and calls that enough. Whatever season you're walking through, the one that feels slower than you hoped, the one that looks nothing like you pictured by this point in your life, He is not disappointed in the pace. He is present in it, the same way He is present in every season, faithful in the waiting just as much as He is faithful in the arriving. You are not forgotten. In a world this loud, this fast, this relentlessly moving, it can feel like you've been overlooked, like the things you're carrying quietly, the fears you haven't said out loud, the prayers you've prayed that haven't been answered yet, like maybe they slipped through the cracks somewhere. They haven't. Not one word you've ever spoken to Him has fallen to the ground unheard. He keeps every one. Your worry will not solve anything tonight. I say that gently, not to dismiss what you're feeling, but to free you from it. The thing you've been turning over in your mind for the last hour, working it, examining it, looking for the angle you might have missed, it will still be there tomorrow. And tomorrow, in the daylight, with rest behind you, you will be better equipped to face it. But tonight, it only has the power you give it. Give it to God instead. He is already awake. He does not sleep, and He does not slumber. The Psalms tell us that plainly, which means while you rest, He works. While you let go, He holds. While you stop running, He keeps watch. You are not leaving things unattended when you sleep. You are trusting them to the one who never stops attending. There is nothing you're carrying tonight that grows smaller by staying awake with it. Worry has never once made a problem easier to solve. It has only ever made the person carrying it more tired. Let tonight be the night you finally test that. Set it down, not because it's resolved, but because it was never yours to hold alone in the first place. Think about how many nights you've already spent awake with a worry, running every possible outcome, bracing for the worst, rehearsing what you might say if things go wrong, and think honestly about how many of those nights actually changed what happened the next day. Probably very few. What they changed was you, how tired you were, how thin your patience wore, how much harder the next day became simply because you never let yourself rest. Tonight doesn't have to be one of those nights. You are loved tonight. Not because of what you accomplished, not because of how strong you were, or how patient, or how faithful. Loved because you are His. Loved the way a father loves a child who has fallen asleep in the back seat of the car on the long drive home. Not because the child did anything to earn it, but simply because the child is His, and that is enough. And it will always be enough. And nothing that happened today changed that by even a fraction. He brought you to the end of this day. He will bring you to the beginning of the next one. And all through the dark hours in between, every quiet breath, every dream, every moment, you aren't even conscious enough to ask for help. He is here. He is near. He is holding what you've finally let go of tonight. Let that truth reach the places words don't usually reach, the place where the old hurts live, the place where you've quietly believed, for longer than you'd like to admit, that love has to be earned before it's given. It doesn't. Not with Him. It never has. So let your mind go quiet now, not by force, just by permission. You have permission to stop thinking. You have permission to stop solving. You have permission to close the door on today, completely, without guilt, without one last check to make sure you didn't miss anything, and rest. He is already watching over you. You've laid it down tonight. You've prayed. You've listened. You've let the word move through you. And now there is nothing left to do. Nothing left to carry. Nothing left to figure out. Just this breath. And the next one. and the quiet presence of a God who loved you before the world began and will love you long after this night is over. You can lay it down now, all of it. It's safe with him. We're not going to talk much here. This is the part of the night where words start to get in the way. Everything that needed to be said has been said. Everything that needed to be prayed has been prayed. The word has gone out, and it does not return empty. That's not my promise. That's his. So now we rest in it. Just breathe in through your nose, slowly. Hold it for just a moment. And out through your mouth, soft and easy, like you're releasing the very last thing you were holding on to. Do that again, in slow, full, deep, out, easy. Let it go. One more time. In, let the air fill you all the way down. Out, and release. Everything, whatever is left. Whatever you didn't even realize you were still holding, there. Notice how your body already knows what to do here. Nobody had to teach you how to breathe. It has been happening quietly, faithfully, since the moment you took your first breath, in and out. In and out, thousands of times a day. Most of them never once noticed. Let that be a small picture of grace tonight. Something faithful, sustaining you, long before you ever thought to be grateful for it. There is a kind of trust your body has already learned that your mind is still catching up to. Your lungs don't lie awake wondering if the next breath will come. They just receive it, over and over, the way you are being invited to receive rest tonight, without earning it, without proving you deserve it, just receiving it because it's freely given. You don't have to pray right now. You don't have to think about scripture. You don't have to feel anything in particular. You don't have to arrive at any conclusion or resolve any tension before you're allowed to sleep. You just have to be here. That's all. Just here, in this body, in this bed, in this night, in this moment, which is the only moment you actually live in, and which is right now, completely held by God. There is a strange kind of freedom in realizing you don't have to be anywhere else right now. Not in tomorrow's meeting, not in yesterday's mistake, not in the version of your life you thought you'd have by now. Just here, just this moment, which asks nothing of you except your presence in it. Let your thoughts come if they come. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Just notice them the way you might notice clouds moving across a night sky, passing through, not landing, not asking anything of you. A thought arrives. You see it. You don't climb into it. And it moves on. And underneath all of it, underneath the thoughts, underneath the feelings, underneath the noise that is finally beginning to thin out, there is something solid, something that was there before the worry started tonight, something that will still be there when the worry is gone. His presence, quiet, steady, unmovable. You don't have to search very far to find it. It isn't hiding from you. It isn't waiting for you to earn your way toward it through some perfect performance of stillness. It's simply here, the way it has always been here, closer than the breath you just took. You don't have to find it. It's already found you. Somewhere in the quiet, imagine your own breathing as a kind of tide, rising gently, falling gently, with nothing forced and nothing rushed. Tides don't argue with the shore. They don't fight to arrive faster or resist pulling back. They simply move, the way they were designed to move, patient and unhurried, obedient to something larger than themselves. Let your breath be like that tonight, not a task to perform, not a rhythm to control, just something happening to you, gently, the way grace happens to you, without your effort, without your permission even being required. Just let yourself sink now, into the pillow, into the warmth, into the deep, unhurried dark that God made for rest. The dark that is not empty, but full of Him, full of peace that passes understanding, full of a love that does not require you to be awake to receive it. Let your body be heavy. Let your breathing slow all the way down. Let the thoughts thin out, one by one, until there is nothing left but the quiet, and in the quiet, Him. There's no need to hurry toward sleep, and no need to resist it either. Just let it come the way it wants to come, in its own time, the way it always has, the way it was designed to. If a thought rises now, let it rise without resistance. The way a small ripple rises on the surface of still water and then disappears again into the same stillness it came from. You don't have to chase it down to know where it's going. It's going nowhere. It's just passing through, the way everything passes through a mind that has finally stopped bracing against the night. And beneath the ripple, the water stays exactly what it was, still, deep, undisturbed. That's the part of you this silence is inviting you back to. Not the surface, where the thoughts move. The depth, where He has been quietly present the entire time. He is here. He has been here all along, and He will be here when the morning comes. You don't have to do anything else tonight. Not one more thing, not one more word, not one more thought carried to its conclusion, not one more effort to make sure everything is in order before you're permitted to rest. Permission was never something you had to earn from Him. It was given the moment you turned toward Him tonight. Just rest now, just rest. We've come a long way tonight. You came here with a racing mind, with thoughts that wouldn't stop and worries that felt too big to set down. You came here tired in the deep places, the kind of tired that goes beyond the body. And you stayed. You prayed. You listened. You let the word move through you, and you let the silence do its work that matters. Don't let anyone tell you that lying here in the dark, reaching for God at the end of a hard day is a small thing. It isn't. It never has been. It takes something real to stop the running and just be still. To say, I can't carry this alone tonight. To open your hands and let it go. You did that tonight. And I want you to know, before we close, that it counted. Even if you can't feel any different yet. Even if your mind still has one or two loose threads it hasn't quite released. Showing up honestly in the dark, reaching for God instead of away from Him, that is never wasted. It never has been, for anyone, in any night like this one. I want to leave you with something before this ends. Not a long teaching, not another layer to process. Just a few words, quiet ones, to carry you the rest of the way into sleep. The Lord your God does not sleep. Behold, He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121:4, which means, right now, in this very moment, as your breathing slows and your mind begins to finally let go, He is awake. He is watching. Not watching the way a security camera watches, cold and indifferent. Watching the way a father watches a child sleep, with tenderness, with a love so complete it needs nothing back from you. Not your consciousness, not your prayers, not your effort. Just you, just your presence, just the fact that you are His. He is watching over you right now. And tomorrow, whatever it holds, is already in His hands. The appointment you're nervous about, the conversation you need to have, the thing you don't know how to fix yet, the situation you've been asking Him about for longer than you want to admit. All of it already in His hands, already seen, already being worked on by a God who does not sleep, who does not forget, who does not abandon what He has started. Being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1-6. He began something in you, and he will finish it. Not when you get it right, not when you stop worrying, not when you finally have enough faith to never be afraid again. He will finish it, because that is who he is, because his faithfulness does not depend on yours, because the work was never entirely yours to begin with. That is the gospel quietly spoken at the end of a long night. Not a demand to try harder tomorrow, not a checklist to complete before you're allowed to rest. Just the simple, steady truth that the same hands that started this work in you are the hands still holding it right now, while you finally let yourself stop holding it too. So let this be the last thing your mind holds before sleep takes you. Not the worry, not the list, not the unresolved thing that tried to follow you all the way into this moment. Just this: you are known, you are loved, you are held right now in this bed, in this dark, by hands that have never once let you go and never will. Whatever tomorrow asks of you, it will not ask it of you unprepared. The rest you take tonight is not wasted time before the real work begins. It is part of the work. It is how you're being made ready, quietly, while you sleep, for whatever the next day actually requires of you. The racing is over for tonight. The striving is over for tonight. The noise, all of it, can wait until morning. And when morning comes, you will face it rested. You will face it with something you didn't have when the day ended. The quiet strength that only comes from having truly let go and truly slept. But that's tomorrow. Tonight is for rest. Take one more slow breath. Feel the weight of the blanket, the stillness of the room, the way the night holds everything without effort, including you. You don't have to do one more thing. Not tonight. He is already watching over you. You prayed tonight. He heard you. You let go tonight. He caught it. You came to the end of yourself tonight and found him already there at the end, waiting, the way he always is. That's how it always goes, if you let it. You reach the place where your own strength runs out, and instead of falling into nothing, you fall into him. He was there the whole time. He just waited for you to stop holding on so tightly to everything else, so that your hands would finally be free enough to reach for him instead. Thank him for tonight, and rest. You can lay it down now, all of it, every last piece. Lay it down, close your eyes, and let the God who never sleeps watch over the night while you finally do. Good night, and God bless you.